So the one topic I can assure you we'll always touch on Real Health is gut health, and that's because it's an integral part of our well-being. If we don't keep our gut microbiome in check or balanced, we are in danger of picking up infections from imbalances, and one such infection is Candida. Our Real Health Medicine Cabinet feature today is specifically targeting this type of infection. But before we take a closer look at the tonic, let's find out and understand what exactly Candida is, how it can be managed. And so we've invited naturopathic Dr. Rory Jean-Jacques to unpack this topic. I get excited because understanding gut health changed my health, and the gut really connects everything in the body, and we're actually more microbes than we are human cells, right?
100%. 100%.
It's crazy when you think about that.
I mean,
we're more bacteria than we are human.
Way more. And the species of bacteria that we have in our system, especially in our gut, are in excess of 900 different species, and some of them they haven't even mapped yet.
Wow.
So we have this whole ecosystem, this whole ecology which exists in us, on us, ear, nose, throat, everywhere. You know,
it really is incredible.
It really is.
And there's no such thing, strictly speaking, as good or bad. It's just opportunistic and beneficial. Is that correct? We want to keep certain bacteria in check,
yes,
but we need them.
So yes, so we have a balance in our ecosystem, in our microbiome of bacteria, yeasts, and a range of other different types of things. You normally want, out of your balance, 85% probiotic, which are pro-life. The other 15% are different types of bacteria, pathogenic, but they do play a role in digestion and elimination.
It's the parasites and the nasties we don't want.
Yes, certainly coli and other types of things which are involved in elimination of and digestion. But the problem comes in when the balance starts to tilt more towards pathogenic bacteria or pathogenic types of yeast. So everything exists in symbiosis, in a symphony. But it's, you know, one example would be something called Candida, which is a single-celled yeast organism that exists within the gut. But there's certain things in terms of diet, lifestyle, and certain medications that we take that disrupt our good flora and allows the Candida to convert into a more active form, and it grows back much faster.
Okay.
So if you go on a course of antibiotics, for example, it can wipe out whole strains of bacteria, and it can completely disrupt your ecology. But the Candida comes back much, much faster.
Okay.
Converts into a mycelial fungus form, which can actually burrow through the intestinal lining and can actually become a lot more pathogenic for the system. So Candida, I would have to say, what I've seen in practice and doing stool tests and live blood analysis and other things, it's absolutely pandemic.
Wow.
And the symptoms that people have are so wide-ranging that it's sometimes difficult to ascertain that it's that, but you test their blood and now I understand why you're getting food cravings. Now I understand why you got sinusitis, why you're getting recurrent UTIs and yeast infections, why you got chronic bloating, constipation, alternating diarrhea, mood disturbances, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, low mood. Because if you think about it, Candida is a yeast. So if you're consuming high amounts of sugar, alcohol, refined, it feeds it. And what do yeast produce? They produce acids, they produce alcohols, they produce endocrine disruptors. Now, 80% of your brain chemicals like dopamine, serotonin are produced in the gut lining. It's your second brain. They call it the gut-brain connection. So if you've got this yeast which is eating and inflaming the gut lining and producing these byproducts which are disrupting, you're exhausted all the time. You have mood swings, and you're just off. You're not sure why you're feeling off. Now, it's something that I've dealt with personally, so I understand it. I really understand it very intimately.
And it's not as easy to interrupt the vicious cycle. I mean, you spoke about sugar and alcohol, because that's where people might find, it is so difficult to start eating healthy. It's almost as if I have another mind that's controlling these cravings.
Exactly.
You really do have another brain that's controlling those cravings.
Because Candida will produce byproducts, certain toxins and byproducts that go into the system that will make you crave sugar. So it is actually starts to direct you. And they've done a lot of research where certain microbes can influence certain disease states, immunity, sugar balance, brain function, and things like that. But now you have something pathogenic which is directing that balance.
Yeah, it's almost like an alien inside of you.
It is exactly it. And those little things that it burrows through your intestinal lining are called hypha, which are actually these tentacles. They go into the blood. Now you consume sugar, which is in your bloodstream, and this is what then further feeds it. So you're wondering why you're feeling the way that you're feeling and you're craving these unusual things when you shouldn't be. And it is a difficult thing to get under control. Number one, you need to starve it. So you need to reduce alcohol, you need to reduce, contraceptive is one of those things that can also disrupt your gut flora, chlorine in our drinking water, stress, alcohol, which is basically liquid sugar. Stress can completely alter the gut flora. So you have to starve it. You then have to add in the right good bacteria, which then compete with it, which most of our gut floras are way less than what they should be. You know, sand bushmen have upwards of 5 kilograms of good bacteria. Modern man, a kilogram to a kilogram and a half if we like, if we're lucky.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
some good perspective there.
100%. So we start to understand that history and how that plays.
When we come back, we continue our chat with Rory Jean-Jacques about the prevention and treatment of Candida and other good practices for good gut health. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for joining us on Real Health. I'm chatting to Rory Jean-Jacques about Candida and gut health. So I found out about the GAPS diet a few years ago because I was experiencing issues, and I found it so fascinating that it's not just my health that I needed to investigate and ask questions about. It was my mom's health and possibly even my grandmother's health. Yes. So some people think things are genetic. It's not necessarily a direct genetic link. Let's talk about why my mom's health and my daughter's health will then stem from me, and why that's important.
So if we're talking about digestive health, a lot of my patients tell me, well, my mom also has constipation or has IBS, and now I have it, and that's also
is it
that
genetic?
Thing. Was it genetic? And genetics can play a 15% role.
Yeah.
But epigenetics and how food and lifestyle, the way we eat, can influence and switch on and switch off genes.
Yeah.
So it's actually more important the way your family eats and how you eat. So you tend to follow the same patterns, eat bread and eat refined carbs and eat the wrong type of pickled foods and processed foods. So you eat foods that your family eats, so you tend to have the same type of digestive issues. So it could be a gluten sensitivity that runs in the family. It could also be when you were born and you go through the birth canal, you collect all of that ecology from your mother. And if your mom's ecology was a certain way, the wrong type of bacterial balance or a certain imbalance that didn't allow it to digest dairy products, for example, or created a sensitivity, she had more of a Candida overgrowth, you would get that type of balance in that ecology, which then means you would have a similar effect to those types of food.
So if it all stems in your gut, or it's all housed within your gut, then what we eat obviously makes a huge difference, and what we choose not to eat. There are a lot of Candida specific diets out there. I mean, if you just Google some diets, and some of them have conflicting advice. So what's your suggestion, recommendation?
So for me, in terms of Candida or feeding your ecology, you need to look at the things that will feed your good bacteria. So that's a wide range of good quality plant materials, avoiding non-foods or space-age foods that are laden with preservatives. So those are refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, white potatoes, sugar, alcohol, and things like that feed the wrong type of bacteria. So in my case, it's to avoid, with patients, I say avoid sugar, avoid starch, have good quality protein, good quality non-starchy veg, okay, and then avoid things that even fermented foods like kefir and sauerkraut, I tend to can exacerbate it.
Yeah. Just because we're talking about supplementing and eating the right food. Our wonder product, NeoFlora 20. So this would be the perfect, especially for people that don't want to take a pill.
This probiotic is a superstar probiotic.
Yeah.
It's something that I've seen in practice. I've never seen a probiotic that can settle digestive issues like this one. It's a live probiotic. It's in a liquid format. It's in a base of humic and fulvic minerals, which act as a natural acidic medium. That acts as an accelerant for your good bacteria. It's like a fertilizer, and it also suppresses your bad yeast and your bad bacteria. This product consistently the most phenomenal results for constipation, bloating, diarrhea or IBS-based symptoms, low energy levels because you're not absorbing your nutrients. It has 30 billion good bacteria per dose. This is a patented formula that was originally developed for agricultural use, and they then modulated it for human use. It comes from the United States. It's in a live format. It doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Just elaborate on that.
Yes.
It's in a live format. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. Because this is it's a minefield for people when it comes to probiotics.
100%. 100%.
Should you buy it in the refrigerated section? If it's in a tablet, what does that actually mean? How do you know it's a good probiotic?
So for me, what we did in live blood analysis was we were able to test and see which probiotics worked for digestion and which ones worked in the blood, and we tested stool samples to actually see what happened. And this one, by and far, is the results that people absolutely, I can't believe how many people come back and say, please can I have more? I can't believe how much better I feel. You know, the fulvic improves your immunity, your energy levels, your cognitive function, clears excess estrogen, which can cause an overgrowth in bacteria, it clears heavy metals, which can also create the growth of Candida. So it has a wide range of strains, but having a live probiotic is the difference. Capsule-based probiotics are in a spore form, produced in a lab. It's never existed in a coexistence with 900 other bacteria. So it has to make its way through your stomach acid.
And then start fighting
and
for
then
position
start
in
and then
your
try
gut.
and start and you know, there are some good strains out there, but I found by and large in results and efficacy, that's all that it comes down to in practice.
Say for adults and children?
Babies, children, adults,
pets,
pregnant women, pets, phenomenal results, can be used topically.
Yes, I put some in a spray bottle, and if I get a flare-up of eczema for whatever reason, internally and externally, I use it.
Yes, it's phenomenal. I've had very, very good results with it. So I believe this is a product that I can recommend. No negative side effects. People maybe detox a little bit. Sometimes when you get, a die-off reaction of the Candida or the bacteria, so the first couple of days people don't feel so good, and the humic and fulvic minerals are proven chelators of industrial toxins.
To help with that.
So you tend to feel not so good, but then after that people just feel absolutely phenomenal.
Fantastic. And where do they find it?
So NeoFlora can be found at leading health shops, independent pharmacies. It can be found on neogenhealth.com, which is a website.
Okay, and I'm sure there's information there for everyone on NeoGen Health as well if you want to do some more of your own research. We love this product, so thanks so much for joining us in studio.
It's a pleasure. It's been great.